that I wanted to make gold as easy to use as your morning coffee app. They laughed. They told me, Oliver, gold is heavy, gold belongs in vaults, gold is for billionaires and central banks, not for people buying coffee. And I say to them, that's exactly the problem.
You're watching the Spotlight Network. Starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford. Streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're talking about Standard & Gold Group with Oliver Antunović. After years in top financial institutions, Antunović saw firsthand the flaws, injustices, and the global impact of our monetary system. His mission now is to create a fairer, more transparent future by building a new standard rooted in precious metals and lasting value. We're delighted to have this talented entrepreneur join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask you to learn more by clicking the link below this interview to find out more about Standard & Gold. Oliver, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much for having me, Logan.
It's a true honor, a true pleasure. This is an important topic. What inspired you to leave a successful banking career to create Standard & Gold?
Well, look, Logan, these days the economy feels more like a circus act than a serious system. And governments keeping printing money, markets jump up and down like a trampoline, and everyone is told, don't worry, everything is stable. If that's what stability looks like, then maybe Las Vegas Casino should start offering retirement plans.
Exactly. It is gambling because our money at any point could be worthless because there is no intrinsic value. And they are doing this quantitative easing, which just means printing money, and it's fueling inflation and it's losing its value. Talk to us a little bit about, in simple terms, what Standard & Gold is all about.
Look, we need first to clarify one important thing. From our view at Standard & Gold, money is nothing else but the certification of our labor time, which means of our working time. You invest time with working to get it certified with money so we can easily trade with each other. This is what money is. And when someone like the central banks are missing their goal and the value of what we have invested on time to get this money be paid with, they halve the value they halve the value of the money with the inflation. And this is exactly the absolutely disaster we can ever imagine what actually happened to the monetary system. The time we have invested is halving because some people are not knowing what they're doing and missing their task as central banks.
Exactly. And that threatens the whole economy of the world, actually, when the central banks are possibly insolvent. Talk to us about how gold provides a more stable foundation compared to traditional currency.
Let me maybe put it this way. Prices are going up everywhere. Groceries, fuel, housing. In Europe, the European Central Bank and in the United States, the Federal Reserve keep assuring us that they have everything under control, while quietly flooding the system with more money. It doesn't take a professor of economics to see that this can't go on forever. Ordinary people feel it every day in their wallets. And that leads to the big question, how do I protect what I've worked hard for? Well, the answer is, and always have been, gold. Gold is different from paper money. You can just print it whenever you feel like it. It's rare, it's real, and it has been trusted for thousands of years. Empire rose and fell. Currencies came and went, but gold has always held its value. And that's why gold is perfect to certificate our labor time so we can trade with each other easily. And especially since gold is really necessary in technology and, how shall I say it, let me put it this way. You and I wouldn't be able to talk with each other this way via Zoom if we hadn't gold, because gold is a very, very good, how shall I say,
The
thing.
transmitter of data
Thank you,
information as
transmitter. This
well.
was the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for.
The
A great transmitter.
HDMI, the cables,
Mhm.
the high-end communication equipment is all gold. And
Exactly.
maybe not solid gold, but gold plated. So it's an
Mhm.
important component. Absolutely. You've mentioned that customers are often treated unfairly in
Mhm.
banking. Talk to us a little bit about that, how customers sometimes are getting the short end of the stick.
Look, the main thing is that the customers think when they get just an advice for investment by a banker, that they make the really big profit, but it is not true. The real big profits are done by the banks. It's absolutely normal because they just have to, um, let me say this way, keep the wheel on running and turning around. And especially when you take a look what the central banks are doing with changing, well, let me put it different. Let me explain this different. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the direct link between the US dollar and gold. Until then, $1 was backed by real gold. When Nixon cut the tie, money became what we call fiat currency now. Valuable only because governments say it is. And now you need to understand one thing. Let me explain it with the euro. 200 euro, the bill. The cost of creating it, it's 16 cents. Now our 16 cent 1,250 times within 200 euro. So when you get 200 euro, you have the value of 200 euro, and you of course can go to the bank and change it, exchange it, or whatever you want to do. But you will get other pieces of paper which are in the value 200 euro and maybe some coins. So when the central bank takes 200 euro, we think about what I said a couple of seconds before, 1,250 times 60 cents, which are included in 200 euro, they print 250,000 euro. And this is exactly where the illusion is going to bring to the people some fairy tales about money, which is not real. Once again, for their 200 euro, they produce 250,000 euro, while we get even less because of some, I don't know, any fees the bank is charging us for exchanging the 200 euro bill. And this is where the customer, I don't would like to say it's a kind of fraud, but it's not really a real business which is given to the customer when he's using money. Can you follow?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. The
and
money has
that's it.
lost its intrinsic value since 1971,
Mm,
when Richard Nixon, the President of the United States, stopped the gold standard in
mm,
banking. Up to then, it was a dollar meant a dollar in gold was set aside in the
mm,
reserve. That is no longer the case. It is money by fiat, and money could be worthless or it could be worth whatever a government says it is.
mm,
And we know in real value, we've seen since 2020 what $100 was, for example, is now $50. You know,
mm,
there in
exactly.
terms of real inflation, it's been
Mm,
a very, very hard time for people whose salaries have not kept up. Talk to us a little bit about your company and how it's helping consumers and
mm.
what you offer as an alternative.
Look, what we have created is especially an app. Um, you can let me maybe explain it with a story when I really started with thinking about how we can bring the gold standard back to the people and especially free them from this illusionary system of fiat currency. You know, when I told my friends the very first time that I wanted to make gold as easy to use as your morning coffee app, They laughed. They told me, Oliver, gold is heavy, gold belongs in vaults, gold is for billionaires and central banks, not for people buying coffee. And I say to them, that's exactly the problem. Why should gold be locked away for a few when it should protect every one of us? Because with gold, we do not face the inflation. With gold, let's go back in the time when the gold standard was even catching the dollar. Just one family father was able to feed the whole family of five, you know? Today's the mother has to go also to work because it's not possible in bigger cities to pay all your bills and how shall I say to stay on and bring food to the table. I hope you can understand
If
me.
you
I
want a
mean, just
balanced economy, if you want a household that works, one salary doesn't cut it anymore. You need two.
no,
Women are
exactly.
basically forced to work,
Hmm.
or both spouses are forced to work,
Hmm.
where one salary used to do it all.
Exactly. And this was in time when the gold standard was. When the dollar was backed by gold, it was not a problem that one salary was feeding the whole family and paying all the bills. Now we have exactly the issue as you told. And this was the idea to think about how can we use gold as payment between each other. Unfortunately, when I started about thinking it is now 25 years ago, the technology was not far like today and we couldn't do anything. So we had to wait for the technology, especially for the blockchain and how shall I say, computers who are able to handle this amount of gigabits. I hope you know what I want to say.
Yes,
And
absolutely. We needed the computer capacity to handle the strain on the system.
mhm. And this was just necessary to wait for it. And fortunately and lucky in our work, we have it already now. And what we are doing now is to make you using the blockchain technology like you know it from cryptocurrencies, but instead like at cryptocurrencies where you buy just the coin, you do not buy the coin in our place, you buy real physical gold and get a coin as ownership certification for your gold, which is secured, stored in values.
Wonderful, wonderful. And people can find out more about this at standardingold.com. Is that the website?
That's exactly the website. Especially, you have there listed and explained every single coin. Since we do not have just only one coin or one token, we have a lot of them. We have the stand, which is in reality the blockchain. Very, very interesting for people who are keen on making profits. We also bring back the Austrian shilling in gold. We bring the German mark back in gold and all the old European currencies, which was really great and stable, especially. And now we stabilize them just more with backing it by gold. We also just have the gold backed US dollar, which is frozen for now.
So if people want to diversify their portfolio from
Mhm.
stocks, bonds, cash, they can now easily add gold as a holding by going to standardingold.com and
Mhm.
purchasing the coins of their choice.
Exactly, that's the way. What I would like to tell as well is we have the stand, which I already mentioned as the coin, as the blockchain by itself. And the stand is increasing in value with every purchase. And this is just known from cryptocurrencies. We just use the same technology and the same math. Now, when you invest, for example, in the stand, it's different to the other coins which are more stable. They stay just when you buy, let's say, one gold back shilling, it is 0.001 gram and it always stays the same. The stand is different. The stand is just rising in the weight of the gold you possess. What means when you buy, for example, just one stand, actually it's below 1 gram, but it could increase as more people purchase and invest into the stand, like every other cryptocurrency, it increases in weight. So you are not owning only 1 gram, you have the chance to have later 1 kilogram with the same coin. I hope I clarified it good in English, because as you see, my English becomes a little bit rusty since I'm back
You're
in
doing
Austria.
great, and I
Thank you very
completely
much.
understand. So as demand increases, the value of the coins will increase as well. And
Exactly.
so you're not locked in. You will actually have the opportunity for this currency to appreciate, as opposed to what we've seen in the United States, for example. We've seen our dollar depreciate because of the impact of inflation. There's a lot more to learn about this, folks. You can go to standardingold.com. It's a comprehensive website where you can get a lot of great information. The name of the project is Standard and Gold Group. It is a bold new vision for fairness, stability, and financial freedom across the globe. Oliver, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate your time, your insight, and the great contribution you are making to our society and to our banking system. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.